Hi everybody, it's Alyce-Kay Ruckelshaus of Threshold of Hineni, and I already talked with you some tonight. It's a week and 2 days after my husband Bill was killed in a car wreck, but I realized that there was more that I wanted to say about what I had been saying, and I was a little distracted, I guess, by what I was doing. So I'm just gonna sit here and talk right now. So on the whole thing about, that I need to embrace this as my new life, I need to figure out what that means. And part of that is that I need to have a routine, because I need to figure out what all the things are that I normally do, what all the things are that Bill normally does, what all the things are that I need to do for what I'm supposed to be doing, and I need to figure out how I'm going to do that. And I'm not going to start figuring that out just yet. But I mean, just things even like the animals are used to getting a lot of attention because there's two of us. Well, I come back here and they're not allowed in my craft room for kind of obvious reasons, but also because I'm technically allergic to dogs and cats. And so it's nice to have one room where I can really breathe. And yeah, so it's like, so if I'm back here working on writing or working on crafting or working on videos, that's all time that I'm away from my animals and they need me. And, so working stuff like that in, and then also self-care. It's like Bill and I really took care of each other. We loved on each other, we touched each other, we complimented each other, we exhorted each other, all those things. And I don't have him to do that for me anymore, so I have to do that for myself or find other people who will fill some of those areas. And I don't really know how that's going to happen, but that's something that I've got to put on my list of things to pray about and to look for. And speaking of prayer, I I think I'm doing fairly well. And I know everybody's journey is different. I'm not comparing myself to anybody or anything, but I think that I'm doing okay. And the hope that I've had today is because of the prayers of his people. It's just, I can't emphasize that enough. It means so much to me to have people praying for me. One of my greatest fears is that after a while people are going to stop praying for me, and I need your prayers so badly. And I really, really depend on them. So anyway, um, last week was basically just trying to cope, and then there were a lot of urgent things that had to be taken care of. This week is somewhat urgent things, but not quite as urgent. I mean, like, I've got to get the insurance claims in, and we went up to get his stuff from the truck and take care of the funeral home arrangements and stuff like that. So they're not like the we're going to seize your house kind of thing anymore, but they're the things that really need to be done in a very timely manner. And so, like, tomorrow, my goal is I have to call the IRS and make arrangements. I had told them that I would call them by tomorrow to give my dad some time to look at my tax situation and stuff. That I would call them to make arrangements to pay taxes that were past due on, and that Bill had, made arrangements for, but it hadn't gotten paid because he died, and now the account that had that money is frozen. Um, so I have to come up with something else. And so call the IRS, and then fill out insurance papers and stuff like that. I don't have his death certificates yet, so I can't send them, but I want to have them ready. And then I'm going to go through the current mail that's been coming in and sort through the bills and stuff and call those people and, tell them my husband just died unexpectedly, and can you give me a little bit of time to kind of figure things out and stuff, because I don't want to send checks that might bounce or anything. His one of our the checkbook to one of our accounts was destroyed in the crash, and so I don't have any record of like checks that were written on that and stuff. So it's a little scary. So yeah, so that so and then the next step, which would probably end up being like the next few days, will be to go through the bills and stuff that he already had in piles on his desk that he had paper clipped together, and some of them say paid and some of them don't, and to figure out, two things: to figure out which bills still need to be paid if they do, and to also figure out what are monthly expenses are and what our quarterly expenses are, because I know that he had things that he paid at different times. And so to figure out from those bills what I need to do financially, and then I have to figure out, because he had an income, he had Social Security, and he was working part-time at Walmart, so there was an income, and it does not equal what I can cut out as far as expenses because of his death. And so I have to figure out what I'm going to do. And if there's any other expenses I can cut out, or if there's other ways I can make money, or what, so I've got to just figure all that stuff out. And I have a lot of peace about it. I might be in dire circumstances, I don't know, but I'm not worried. God has always taken care of me. I've never ended up on the street. I've never starved to death. My children have never starved. We've never ended up on the street. And we've always had what we've needed. And so I know God's going to take care of me. I'm not worried about that. I know that I have to do my part, and I totally am. I work really hard, really, really hard, not just at my teaching job, but trying to do things so that I have an income in the future too. So I am responsible and a hard worker. I'm not just saying that I'm going to sit back and let God take care of me, or let the state take care of me, or anything like that. So, but I don't know how that's going to happen yet. But God does. And so that's fine. There's that song, I don't know about tomorrow. Or there are things about tomorrow I don't seem to understand, but I know who holds tomorrow, and I know who holds my hand. And that's what I'm feeling. That's what I'm believing. The other thing I need to say is that there are times when fear starts to creep in, and I have to make a conscious decision whether I am going to listen to that fear, or whether I'm going to say no to it. I have to stop and say, God knows what's going to happen. He knew what was going to happen. He loves me. He's all powerful. He will take care of me. And I just have to remind myself of that, and not accept the fear that wants to creep into my life, because it really, really does. The enemy of my soul wants to destroy me. That's true for any of us, you guys. And so it's not being paranoid. I know it sounds paranoid, but it's not. He wants to destroy us. He doesn't want us to do what God's plan is for us. And so he wants to paralyze us with fear. And there have been plenty of times in the past that I have allowed that to happen, but I'm choosing not to. Now, am I always going to be successful in that? I don't know. I may at some point really, really slip. I hope not. And I ask you to pray that I won't. But it's possible, because I'm not perfect. But today I have hope. And today I'm not letting fear slip in, creep in, slip in, whatever. And I think that the strength that I have is definitely from God and through the Holy Spirit, because of the prayers of his people. And so I just really, really beg you to keep praying for me, and to pray for other widows or other people who are going through whatever that you know of. Please, please pray, because we depend on your prayers, and you are going to go through hard times too, and I'm sure you're going to depend on prayers. And it makes a huge difference, you guys. I can tell you, I can feel it. I feel stronger today than I have in years, since even before Bill and I were married, which is pretty incredible, because I feel stronger because of him and what he put into my life. But I also feel stronger now because of the prayers of people who were lifting me up before the Father. It's just amazing. And that doesn't mean necessarily that I'm happy. There were times today when I was happy, and that's really good. And right now I'm actually feeling a little happy. But there were also times when I felt so, so sad. But I'm not feeling that despair anymore for the most part. I have a few times. I'd probably say maybe 5 times today I felt despair. Okay? But for the most part, I've felt hope, or neutral. Neutral bordering on hope. Your moods are just swinging just like crazy. So anyway, that was what I wanted to say. And I love you. And here's something that I would really, really like help with, because Bill took such good care of me, and I'm really not used to taking care of myself, because I didn't in the past, because I didn't feel like I deserved it. So tell me, what are some ways that you take care of yourself? If you could put that in the comments below, that would really, really help me, and probably help other people who are coming to watch this because they are grieving, or because they're trying to help somebody who's grieving. Thanks a lot. I love you all. I mean, I really, really do love you all. And please tell someone that you love them. Bye bye.